What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my NFL Week 7 power rankings. But before I get into it, subscribe to our channel to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. 32 are the Panthers. They're staying put. Put 14 straight on the Dolphins to start the game, but after that, got outscored 35 or 42 to 7. And the team, they just can score. They can't do much, but they're heading in the bye 0-6. But the only bright spot has been Adam Thielen, where he has had a monster year so far. 31 of the Patriots. Tough luck loss yet again. And this team could probably be 3-3, even maybe 4-2 if a few things go their way. A catch in bounds against the Eagles or, making a field goal and this and that, whatever. The Patriots, though, are struggling here. Kendrick Bourne's been all reliable, and Zeke finally scored his first touchdown, and now they get the Bills at home in what should be a tough game. Giants stay at 30, and they actually lost to the Bills on the road. Multiple chances at winning this game, 0-5 in the red zone. The first half blunder before, 14 seconds left, can't even score, run the ball, can't get to line and spike it. They just really struggled in all aspects of the game, and it's a must-win game if this team wants to turn their season around. Broncos stay at 29 with their loss against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. They didn't do anything until the fourth quarter where they finally scored and really got things going. But, right now, if things keep happening the way they are, they lose to the Packers, and this thing might get blown up here at the end of the year. Cardinals are at 28, and they had a good first half, but a scoreless second half pretty much sealed their fate. And their big thing is Kyler Murray and James Conner needing them back. And when they get them back, I think this team could be one of those teams that you don't want to play towards the end of the year. Maybe they'll be out of wild card contention, but they'll be playing for something next year. And Josh Dobbs, though, has played pretty well in Murray's absence, but it's just not as good. The Bears fall back to 27 after a loss against the Vikings. And obviously the big storyline coming from this one was Justin Fields. He got knocked out with a dislocated thumb, and he's trending to miss already this Sunday's game against the Raiders. It's going to be Tyson Bagent, the rookie, coming in to take his spot. The running back room's been a big question. Is it going to be Foreman again, Johnson, Herbert? Not a lot of people know what's going on there. Just some more reasons to not believe in the Bears this year. Vikings stay at 26, and I can't move them up too much just because, they did beat the Bears. Now they get the Niners at home coming off the loss, which would be a very tough game. But on the positive side, Kirk played well, didn't commit any mistakes, didn't really have to do too much in this one. Madison had 22 touches and really took over. They just need to figure it out and get consistent. And if they can get the Niners in an upset, then this Vikings team might be back on the right path to possibly getting into the playoffs. The Titans fall in London to the Ravens. And this one was Derrick Henry show and the special team show as well. Nick Folk, 3 for 3 on field goals. You can see there. Stonehouse, the punter, had a great game as well. But the quarterback play is what's going to cost this team a playoff spot at the end of the year. I firmly believe it. Unless Malik Willis comes in now and can light up the show and change the trajectory of this team after the bye week, then the Titans are going to be looking at a spot on the couch in the playoffs. Commanders win here, beating the Falcons, get back to 300, and Sam Howell had a great day. 3 touchdowns through the air, the defense as well. 3 interceptions and 3 Falcon field goals prove difference. And Brian Robinson Jr. has been very good this year. I just think they need to get his snap count and usage up more. And I think that Commanders team will take off. And if they can get a win here against the Giants, get over 500, then this might be a team that's going to start to turn some heads here entering the second half of the season. My Packers fall back 2 spots. They fall victim to teams winning. And they go to Denver this week, and it's all going to come down to Jordan Love and how he plays. The team should be fully healthy here besides Bakhtiari. And, no, there's really no excuses at this point now through 5 games. Love had his worst game before the bye. So he's looking to build off of that and possibly play really good here against Denver's weak defense. Raiders move up 1, and it was mostly because of the resiliency. Even after Jimmy G went down, Hoyer stepped in and did very well managing the game. Michael Mayer had his best game as a pro as well. And if you look at that schedule there, Lions are obviously the best team they're going to play. Toughest defense is going to be the Jets. But it's hard for me not to imagine this team at least being 5-5, possibly even 6-4 if they can pull off an upset. They're going to hang around here in the AFC West and possibly the AFC wildcard race as well. Falcons fall back a lot to 21, and it just sucked for them. They had 3 interceptions, all close like in field goal range, and they just really squandered those opportunities. The Commanders, though, just played better when it mattered most, and they just need to get Bijan going. I know he's been involved a lot, but there just needs to be one monster game where he just gets 20 touches and just takes control of this offense. And maybe it's this week in Tampa, but till that is yet to be seen, it's hard for me to trust this Falcons team. Steelers fall victim to other teams winning as well as they go to Los Angeles to face the Rams this week. Kenny Pickett, George Pickens connection. They get Deontay Johnson back, Najee and Jaylen Warren. These guys need to step it up a little bit here. Obviously, the defense is very good, but it's going to be the offense to make or break if they're going to win every game or not. Colts fall 4 spots in the loss to the Jaguars. Offense can't do anything until the fourth quarter. Anthony Richardson's probably looking like he's out for the year. Jonathan Taylor got some more touches, so he's trending towards that full workload like we're used to. But it comes down to Gardner Minshew for this team's success. The 3 interceptions really halted any chance that the Colts had at winning this game. But, he eliminates those turnovers, and the Colts should be in almost every game because of their defense. But now they face a very good Browns defense, and which has stifled teams over the last few weeks. Saints fall 5 spots after losing to the Texans on the road, and they just couldn't get past themselves. 2 missed field goals, stopped on 4th down in the fourth quarter, and an interception on their last drive ruined all their chances they had at possibly winning this game. And I had high hopes for this team, probably a 10-7, 9-8 team at best right now, and that's kind of where I had, but I didn't think it would be this ugly this early. Derek Carr needs to play a little bit better. He's playing some mediocre football, but that explains why they're 3-3, and they got to get a big win. If they can beat the Jaguars here, I think I'm going to be trending in the direction of that this team is starting to figure it out. The Texans move up 2 after beating those Saints, get back to 500, and they're definitely the most surprising team so far this year. Heading into the bye, 3-3. I think if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, would have been very shocked. And here we are. It happened. Stroud's looked great. He did throw his first career interception this week, but they still got the win. Dalton Schultz has looked good in his last few weeks. And there's really not a top target that he's really going to. It could be Collins one week, Tank Dell the next week, Schultz another week. And that's what makes this Texans teams good, is because they have a lot of weapons that Stroud can utilize. Chargers fall 16 after losing by 3 at home versus the Cowboys last night on Monday Night Football. And the thing that I just realized that, this team's 2-3, and I'm not putting them down there below the halfway point, I guess, for the teams. They've lost all 3 of their games by 3 points or less to the Dolphins, Titans in overtime, and then now the Cowboys. So this team's in every single game. They could be 5-0 if a few things go their way, but they're not. And they got to face reality here. They got to go into Arrowhead and get a big win. Is a very questionable thing to say. And this team could be looking at 2-4 record here at this time next week. Rams moved to 15 after beating the Cardinals at home. Really limited the Cardinals in the second half, didn't let them score. And that's where the Rams pull away. But on the downside, Kyren Williams and Ronnie Rivers both suffer injuries. Williams is already trending to miss next week, and Ronnie Rivers is trending to go on the IR. So it's going to be Zach Evans that's going to step into their place next week. But Cooper Kupp and Puka, it's just going to be a combo back and forth one week. And they didn't really have to throw in this one as much. So, Kupp obviously still had a big day, but Puka not so much. And this Rams team going against a better defense this week, it's going to be interesting to see how they game plan. 14 are the Jets, moving up 10 spots. And that's because, yes, they defeated the Eagles 20-14 with a late interception and then Breece Hall touchdown at the end. And Zach Wilson played good. He played what he needed to do, game managed, didn't commit a turnover. And this defense has really kept the Jets in every single game this year, except the Cowboys won early. But if they want to win, they got this 3-game stretch after the bye: Giants, Chargers, and Raiders. And if they can at least win 2 or 3, be 5-4 heading into week 11, they're saying Rodgers could possibly return. I know it's crazy, possibly return weeks 12, 13, 14, whenever he's feeling 100% around then. He's trending to be back, hopefully by the end of November. And if that's the case, then this Jets team, if they're in about a 500 record and they're in a position to make the playoffs, then they might get that boost that they need. The Bucks fall out of the top 10 after their loss to the Lions at home. Not much to say here for Tampa. Nothing good really came out of this one. It was pretty disappointing for them on primetime television against, the 4-1 Lions. But I guess on the positive, the defense did hold them to 40 rushing yards, but they didn't really have to do too much because Goff really picked them apart through the air. Now they got to rebound this week in a divisional game that can decide how this team is going to play the rest of the year. Seahawks also fall out of the top 10 with their loss to the Bengals. Played well enough to win this game, but some costly turnovers by Geno really let them down. Kenneth Walker, another great game, and Lockett and DK, yet again, some good games from them. They get the Cardinals at home, should be an easier matchup and should get back on track here with a win. Those Bengals, in week 5, you can see there in that graph that they were the 21st team in my rankings, and already 2 weeks later, they're almost cracking the top 10. And it's because they've won 2 straight, did beat the Cardinals, did beat the Seahawks, and this was a much needed win. And it really proved to me that Bengals are back. They did struggle a little bit through the air. I know Burrow didn't play his best, only 185 passing and 3 for 11 on third down. But you got to look at the positive. A win is a win heading into the bye. A good regrouping right now for them. And I think if you would have told a lot of fans that they're 3-3 at this point, I don't think they would be disappointed, but I'm sure they're not happy. Browns cracked the top 10 for the first time this year over their win in San Francisco. And they got lucky. I know that their defense is good, but Moody missed few goals. The game winner just squeaked over to the right. And, it just so happens the Browns were the better team to win this one. PJ Walker did as best as he could against that tough defense, and they put him in a position to win. And they got the Colts this week in what should be a good game. And this Browns defense is not getting talked about enough. And now people are starting to pick up on it that they are very good this year. And right now they are looking like a top 5 defense. Another AFC North team are the Baltimore Ravens, cracking back into the top 10 here after falling out briefly last week. Get the road in London against the Titans, and now they have the Lions coming to town, which should be another great game, 4-2 versus 5-1. And it's going to come down to Lamar. Lamar played decent enough to beat the Titans, but I don't think that's going to be enough to cut it against these Lions. Zay Flowers is starting to emerge as the wide receiver 1. Mark Andrews and him are going to be a very good combo for the rest of this year. And it's going to be a good game. If the Ravens can win this game at home, they're going to prove to me that, all right, this team is a for sure playoff team if Lamar doesn't get hurt like he did last year. And that's just the name of the game. If Lamar stays healthy, this team is very, very fun to watch. He just can't get hurt. And if that's the case, then the Ravens just, get picked apart. The Bills fall down to 2 spots after somehow, some way winning this game against the Giants. They deserve to lose this game, but the Giants just didn't want to win it. They didn't score until the 4th quarter, scoring all 14 of their points. And I guess you can say it's the defense that really won them this game, holding them to 0-5 and the red zone and 0-3 in goal-to-goal situations. But Josh Allen, he threw for 2 touchdowns and got the win, but he needs to play a little bit better against this Giants defense that's got gashed this whole season. Not a good enough performance. Diggs, though, had a great game. And now they go in New England in what should be a tough game as well, just because it's an AFC East matchup. The Cowboys move up to 7 after their win on the road in Los Angeles. It was the 4th quarter that really got it done for them. The touchdown and then the late interception. Dak played well in this one. Pollard as well. And then CD had one of his better games this year. It's only 7 receptions and it's not as much as we're used to, but it is better than what he has had this year. It's his best game so far. And if they can build off that coming out of the bye week, then I think this Cowboys team could prove to a lot of people that, they still are a very good team, even after the loss to San Francisco. Jaguars move all the way up to 6 after beating the Colts. It's their 9th consecutive victory in the series against the Colts at home. And they're looking really good. I think this is my team that I'm taking. Beginning of the year, I took them to win the Super Bowl. Somehow, some way, they're going to put it all together. ETN's looking great. There's lots of weapons. Ridley's, hit or miss one game, but when he has his game, it's tough to stop him. And Thursday Night Football, they got the Saints, and he's trending to miss this game, T-Law. And I'm not really too much worried about it because they have such a good run game. But if they can't run the ball, then it's going to be a concern. But I still have the Jaguars winning that one. Eagles fall all the way down to 5. And that's because, I get that they lost on the road to the Jets, who have a really good defense. But 3 interceptions from Hurts, 4 total turnovers. Offense got exposed a little bit here. And it's tough for me to see this team win this game in Miami. I'm not saying they're going to lose, and I'm not saying they're going to win. But it's going to be tough for me to see them winning if they play like they did last week. And obviously, that's saying a lot because they had 4 turnovers. But Hurts can't commit those turnovers. Some of those throws that he made were forced into coverage that he shouldn't have thrown. And if he does that against the Dolphins, it's going to be almost the same result. But it should be a good game, and the Eagles should play better. But don't be surprised if they don't. The Niners fall from 1 to 4. back to their preseason ranking. And since the preseason, they've been at 1. So they're finally falling out of #1 spot. But they missed that game-winning field goal to lose their first game. So I couldn't drop them out of the top 5. It is only 1 loss, and they had a chance to win it with 0 seconds left on the clock. But the biggest concern is Christian McCaffrey and Debo. Obviously, both those guys left early in this one. Shanahan came out and reported that McCaffrey is expecting to play, and same with Debo on Monday against the Vikings. It's not confirmed yet that they are, but the hope is for them both to play. But we got to talk about Brock Purdy. It was his first regular season loss as a starter, dating back to last year as well. And he just didn't play well, plain and simple. 12 for 27 isn't a game that we're used to seeing from him in this offense. George Kittle, only 1 catch for 1 yard. He was not involved even after both those guys came out of the game. And they got to quickly regroup here after going into Minnesota, because Minnesota isn't going to back down and, just expect the Niners to win this one, because they need that win as well. Dolphins move up to 3 because of those 2 losses. They get those Eagles, as I was mentioning, and they scored 35 straight to beat the Panthers here. It's pretty much the Dolphins are their only victim in this point. Obviously, they lost to the Bills by a lot, but outside of the AFC East, I don't really see this team slowing down. They have an easier side of schedule. They still have the Eagles and Cowboys as well. But Tua, as long as he's healthy, this team is just going to be tough to stop. And Raheem Mostert, leading the league with 11 touchdowns this year. Tyreek, just another stellar performance. And that Eagles-Dolphins game, Sunday Night Football, you can't miss that. At 2 are the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, they beat the Broncos 19-8, but it wasn't really that much of a convincing win for me. It was pretty boring. I know that the defense played really well in this one, but it's the Broncos we're talking about here. And obviously I have to mention Taylor Swift, because, it's just the trendy thing nowadays that there's 3-0 when Swift is at the game. And Mahomes, 30 for 40, just another performance for him. Pacheco, another decent game. Kelsey obviously played well. They get the Chargers at home, on what should be a good game, because these teams love to battle it down to the end. And yes, as a Packers fan, all my Lions fans out there, I'm sure you're happy about this one. I'm putting them at #1. This team has just taken off. This team's loss was in overtime at home to the Seahawks when they were playing good, put up 37 on this defense. But other than that, this defense has really responded and played really well all year. On the road, going into Tampa, would have projected to be a really good game. They came out just dominated from start to finish. And this is their best record in the NFL they've had since 1993, when they've been tied for the best record in the NFL. And that's thanks to Jared Goff, yet another stellar performance. Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. The only cause for concern is the running back room. David Montgomery looks like he's going to be out a week or 2. Gibbs has been out for 2 weeks, but hopefully he's coming back this week to take over his carries. And then Craig Reynolds has looked great in his, brief spot starts and snap usage when both of those running backs have been out. So the Lions have been figuring it out through the run game. It hasn't been super consistent here after week 4, but they're finding ways to win games, and they're just going to have another gritty performance if they want to go into Baltimore and win that game. But that's going to be it for my week 7 power rankings. Let me know down below what you guys think. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.